So, hi everyone, welcome to Legends and Lore Season 2, Episode 2. And I'm Anna Meyer, and with me, as usual, are.
This is Mike Bridges, Gray
Mhm.
Hawkery. Um, it's our second episode already. Good.
Yeah,
We're back in the groove.
yeah, it's awesome. So, how are you doing?
Not so hot.
Uh oh.
Yep, a lot of flu going around.
Yep.
Um, I'll try to hang in there best I can. The
Yep.
Incabulous got a hold of me.
Yeah, it's like all sorts of seasons. We're going to talk about calendar and seasons and stuff. So, kind of flu season and illness season is kind of season. We have the rainy kind of season in California. It's kind of weird weather. We've had rainstorms and things are flooding down the hills, and it's kind of it's a mess. It's windy and stormy and rainy, which
Hmm.
we are not used to. So our cell phones goes off every 10 minutes for yelling and screaming that we should
Hmm.
evacuate or some neighbor should evacuate or something. So yeah. So but hopefully we will not. I will not flow away while we're having the show
Well,
at
we've
least.
had freezing weather, 50-degree weather today, and tomorrow's going to get freezing again.
Yeah. Well, the good thing
Can't
is it's
win.
California, so it's still in the 50s here, so it's good. But we
Mm.
had like colder, like meaning below 40, but we haven't had much below 40 at all. So this is good. So what have you been up to this past since last week? Any
Oh,
interesting gray hockey things?
the only thing I've worked on is the blog post I was hinting at last week.
Mm-hmm.
I have a post up right now. If you go to greyhawkery dot blogspot.com, and you'll see my newest article on great Greyhawk romances.
Oh, I
It's
have to read
Valentine's
that
Day
one.
today.
Yes, exactly. So happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Yep.
To a Garthen. Wow. Hey, Rick.
Oh,
Uh,
awesome. Hi, Rick. And Bavix is here too. I missed that for a
yeah.
bit. I'm sorry. So, yep.
So yeah, I knew we were going to be talking about calendars and holidays today, so I
Mm-hmm.
started thinking about how Greyhawk, at least to my knowledge, doesn't have a Valentine's equivalent.
No, not really, but they have. I've started reading through. I did a calendar some years ago, and
Okay.
I started collecting all the
Okay.
anecdotal festivals and stuff I could find. And
So there might be.
yeah, so
Yeah.
there's some Oldammer and there's some weird ones, so we can go
Okay.
over them during the next hour here. But yeah, so you've
Yeah.
been.
So I went through and talked about all the great couples
Yeah.
in the world of Greyhawk, and there's quite a few.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So go on over there and check that out.
Yep. Definitely will.
Um, what have you been up to?
I've been horribly bad at doing Greyhawk stuff this week. Most of
Yeah.
my week has actually been kind of Midgardy this week, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So we're gearing up for the next big project that is not for this show really, but I might show something on a map stream later. So the only thing that I've done that is, and I have to again say I'm so sorry to my patrons for that, but what I've done, Greyhawk, is that I've done some preparations for GaryCon that is Greyhawk related, so to speak, for the seminar that we're going to have at GaryCon. So that's the. Oh, we have Gary here too. Thank you. Welcome. Yep. Oh, it's the Festival of Mirhis. Yep.
We'll get to
Awesome.
that.
Yep.
Um,
So
we did talk about GaryCon seminar last,
yeah,
or was that earlier this week? I can't remember.
yeah, there was last week a little bit, and
Yeah.
and the preparations are underway. So there will be some handouts and some stuff. That's what I've been working on. That's my Greyhawk related work this weekend. So hopefully there will be some
Cool.
cool handouts, a booklet, and some maps and some other stuff.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah.
hmm
Okay. Yeah. Mic check.
Okay. Then yep. Mic check. I'll adjust a little bit here so I can't put me up, but I can put.
Thanks, Goon.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, something like this probably works better. That's what we usually have. So yep. I'll double check my mic here so I haven't screwed up any of that again. There we go.
I got a really high end mic, so I just plug mine in and go. And Anna's always got to make adjustments.
Yeah, mine is set to
Ooh,
the highest. So yep. So we'll see. Yep.
blurg.
Oh wow, you go up to way up to the red here. So I'll put you down just a little bit. So
Oh,
now
my
we
really
should
smack
be,
there.
yeah, now we should be fairly equal from at least when I judge from these kind of little meters
Why
that
do
go
you
up
still
here.
have wisdom teeth, Smedger?
Ooh, yeah,
Hmm.
those aren't fun. I took mine out years ago. So yeah.
Does Greyhawk have a tooth fairy?
That might be. Yeah, we have to go through the gods list or the deities one
Yeah.
day, and that was something for one episode where we can go over all the different deities and figure out which one should do what. So yeah, so that's the tricky. And also, I'm sorry, I haven't been up to that much Greyhawk related this week. That's or the past week. That's the thing. But I have the upcoming week. I have some new things to dig into. Then I will nail down. I've nailed down. Well, that's a thing that maybe I did that already last week. I've nailed down the 20 that I call now the 2019 version. The 2018 turned into 2019, so it will be the 2019 version that will come out
Right.
in next week for sure. Maybe this weekend and for sure next week will come on my website. There are just a few more tweaks. I've added some heraldry, and there are a couple of names that I've fixed a typo, and I've added 3 names. I think it was the last update. That was the last that managed, and then it will be nailed down for the next year, for this year, and then we'll look into next year to maybe do a different version again. But so that will come up next week, and there will also be for my patrons a first look at the terrain of the Lendor Isles because most of it is
Mhm.
done. So that will be a look at for my top patrons. Will have a look at and files and stuff like that. And then hopefully in the week after or in the next 2 weeks, there will be a first look at Hepmona Land, the new parts, because will be some updates there too.
Very cool. Very
Yep.
cool. I know Hep Monolin would be particularly interesting to me because I had tinkered around with that kind of farther south sea
Mm-hmm.
stuff myself.
Yeah. Oh, but that's cool because then I need to ask you some questions when I get down there. Now I'm just nagging in
Great.
I've done the
Yeah.
overview with the coastlines and the kind of base work and layering
What
and
the
more technical
development?
stuff. But then but soon I have to dig into the meat and of actually kind of figuring out where all the features should be. And there's a bunch of features detailed, but there's still a lot of white space between them, so to speak, because I work in a scale that is much larger than the existing map. So that means that there will be way more white things to fill out. So I have to. There are some interesting rivers and lakes and stuff down in the south that are not they are on the map, but they are kind of one of them seems to work like the Okavango Delta in southern Africa, a river that flows from mountains out into a desert and then simply evaporates in there.
Oh
So
wow,
yeah, so I think that someone might have put that in there because it's like the Okavango in Africa. So it's one
it's
of these
real.
features. Yeah, because
That's
it
cool.
flows out into a desert and it doesn't seem to reach the coast at any place. So that will
That's
be
cool.
a cool kind of interesting feature that once a year or after the rainy period, then the desert will bloom and there will be like a marshland and a delta. So that's kind of
Good retcon.
yeah. So that's one of the so I'm still kind of looking over these kind of large features to see so I can start planning the different bits and research the different textures and stuff that are needed.
Yeah, Anna, you've kind of spread out a little off the map, haven't you? Maybe on the inset map, but you haven't really gone way, way out of your way
No, I
yet.
haven't so far. I've only you mean compared to the Darlene map and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what
I'm only
good
covered.
partner
I've
is.
covered further west than Darlene, and especially further southwest than the
Right, which I
Darlene.
call the inset map.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly. Yeah.
inset map in
Yeah.
classography.
Yep.
Yeah,
I covered that one, and so and the areas in the far west and especially in the far southwest are very sketchy. So they probably need a lot more rework because there's not much to go on there, so to speak. So they might need rework. And but now
mountain
it will be,
range
yeah.
and that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. So now it will be the going south, so to speak, and then I have to kind of go cover so because now I'll go way south of the existing map, and then we have to look into to where to expand after that. But that's this year's expansion. So I hope that I can have a project every year to expand in some direction every year, so to speak. So
hmm,
yep. So that and then at the same time also have one project that it's getting into dig into the detail in his Lendor Isles this year. And there's also some
Lindor.
technical updates. The Gaia, one of my new tools that I'm going to use, just dropped their Sharp version 1 today. So that's cool because now I have a new tool that is vastly much better than previous. So that's something that I will introduce into projects sooner this year, and that will bode really well for especially for next year and this fall when new projects will come up. So that will be something that will then that I can work in much faster with much higher precision than I've been able to before. But that's yeah, that was a short version of what I've been up to so this week. So yep.
The short
Yep.
version.
Now we need to dig into the meat of our topics with calendars and stuff here. Yep.
Calendars.
We go from the rainy season and stuff, and I bet that most people are that are in the audience are kind of aware of the year and how the week and stuff. But maybe we should just go over that a little bit to see what the
I surprisingly do not follow the calendar very well.
uh-huh.
I know the general outline of it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
you told me to like name the months in order. I couldn't do it.
No, me neither. I just what I do is that when I play, I have a PDF version on my calendar where I put
Yeah.
notes in. And at first I had a PDF for many years. Now I put it into Realmworks, my campaign management tool, and I have a special layout for the days of the year and stuff like that. So I have a typical week, I have a typical year, and so on. So that's what I use. But so I kind of don't memorize it. I kind of go for it, and then when I look into it,
When you need it.
yeah,
Yeah.
for every doing every session that this will play out the next couple of days or whatever it is. But I kind of like the year. It's kind of cool with the four festivals, and then you have 3 months in between, and then you have that separate week
Yeah.
that is
I wish we
not.
had that in real life.
Yeah, exactly. That would be so cool because it would
Yeah.
be like 4 vacation weeks that are evenly spaced
Hmm.
out during the year. That would be kind of
Yeah.
awesome
A
fun.
week long vacation
Yeah.
holiday. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get one every season, and that's really cool. And then you have the 7 day week like we have in the real world, but it's kind of different. You have 3 days of work, and then you have a day of worship midweek, and then you have 2 days of work, and then one day of rest again. So it's kind of the
So there are
weekend.
worship days in the middle of the week.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
really realize
they
that.
have like in the real world traditionally we have the Saturday and the Sunday, meaning we have the off day
Yeah.
and the worship day on as one big weekend in the Flanese normal
Hmm.
calendar. You have that split up, so you have a day off and then you have a day for worship separately.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder if worship day, like people get drunk and whatever and come to work hungover the next day,
I
or
guess
if
that
that's
depends on what kind of
depends on the
religion
religion.
and what and yeah and worship
Right.
probably means a very different thing depending on what type of realm you live in. If you live in like theocracy of the pale, you have mandatory present at the temple and you have to
Yeah.
be part of it because it's kind of a theocracy
Well, if
run
your
by the
work
priest. And
is religion, like a paladin or
yeah,
cleric, then
then
dang,
yeah, and then that
you have
probably
one
means
day
work
off.
day because you have yeah you probably have to kind of show up and participate and keep track of the masses and stuff. So oh, you have Gary have the year is perfectly 364 days. Uh-huh. Ah, yeah. So the planet kind of, yeah, kind of goes around perfectly around. So it is 364 days a year then. Yeah. No, it's not 13 lunar months. I think it's kind of, you have the festivals. They coincide with Selene, the small moon, when it's full. So it
Messing
has,
up stuff.
yeah. So the Selene has 4 cycles per year, and I think that Luna has 12, just like ours. So they are spread out and kind of wanders through the months. So Luna has is full in different times of the different time every year or every month. So I can, let's see here. I have that on a file here, so I'll open it and check. So let's see here. So we have a full Luna at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, there is like the Luna cycles 12 times a year, and then Selene 4 times a year. So that means that since there is like effectively 12 plus 4, so it's, yeah, there's like more months, but some of the festivals are only a week long, but they kind of, and the other ones are 4. So that means that the full moon is not the same day every month. It kind of circles around. So the first full moon is in Fire Seek on the 11th, full Luna, and then it's on the 11th again for a bit, and then it's on the 4th, and then on the 4th couple of times, and then it's on the 25th, etc. So yeah, so it wanders a little bit through the calendar. So yeah, yeah, Luna is 28 cycles. So yeah. But
And that's another thing I've never bothered with is trying to learn the lunar cycles because I don't even know Earth's lunar
no,
cycle.
me neither. But
I
so
do
yeah,
humans.
well, I what I do when I play games that way, I just look at the calendar and see that today is so and so moon, and there's no moon, and then there's moon, but I don't really plan it or keep a track of it. So
Yeah.
by memory, I just look at it and stare and see that, okay, now the vampires are out, or the whatever, yeah, the the werewolves and stuff like that are a problem today, or certain days.
Yeah, there's one holiday I see that's special to werewolves that we'll probably bring up. Let's see. Smedger is drunk 13, 13 months.
Yeah, but yeah, the months are that weird thing because you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 months and then
In
4
4
festivals.
week
Yeah, festivals.
festivals.
So
Yeah.
there's like
He knows
effectively,
that.
yeah, there's like 12 real months and then 4 weeks. So there's like 16 monthly things, but only 12 of them are real months. So it's that way kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. What more importantly, I think it's interesting that Greyhawk has 2 winter months, 2 spring months, 2 autumn months, and like the rest of it's summer.
Yeah.
Like half the year is summer. It's almost like Game of Thrones, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
a little bit of winter.
Yeah. And I guess that, but I guess that's traditionally, so we can say that that will be in like the Great Kingdom or something, because that's probably where this calendar
Mm,
was set, I guess.
I see what
So
you're saying.
yeah, so in the temperate kind of middle regions of the Flannies, like at Rossi's and those areas, and when you look at the climate and where it is on the planet, that makes perfect sense. That will be like northern Italy or southern Germany or middle of France or something like that. So
Longer summer.
yeah, so that will be in that area. So to have 2 winter months is kind of that. But if you go up really up north, I bet that the Stonefisters and the Fists, or people living up the wolf nomads or the tiger nomads and stuff, they probably have a 4 months winter at least. And the poor ice barbarians are like the people in the northern coast of Alaska, or up in northern Scandinavia. They probably have 6 to 8 months of winter. So when it comes to being cold and snowy. But then you have all the other calendars that we haven't talked about so much. That you have the Baklunis, the old Sulwas calendar, the Elven calendar, and stuff that are have different names, and they have different years and
Yeah,
stuff. So they're
yeah.
mentioned somewhere, and there's like, and that's a tricky thing because the common calendar that is used in most of the Flannies and most of the dates when you read Greyhawk material are written in CY, meaning common year. But
Right.
then there is a year zero in common years, which means that when you translate the years, you have to count in a year zero for some reason. Yeah,
Bad choice.
yeah. So there is something. I guess that was the first Overking or something that when he declared that was a new timekeeping reckoning when he declared that the new the
Them kings don't know math.
no, but I guess they get advice from someone who wanted to screw it up. So there was someone that
Yeah.
and now they declared universal peace in the Great Kingdom, and the new calendar was kind of put in effect.
Wasn't a priest of Lendor. He would have set that straight.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's kind of cool. But now let's
Huh.
see here. We have the first thing of the year is the
All right.
Meadfest festival. I'm
My
sorry.
favorite.
Yeah, that's
No, you
kind of.
keep. Yeah, your focus keeps
Oh
going
yeah,
out.
going in and out. It's my poor old camera. I need to replace it. But at least I got my lighting a little bit better this today
All right.
than I've had previous
So
episodes.
Needfest.
Yeah.
It's everyone's favorite, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Feast of Unreason and a whole bunch of and the mummering and a whole bunch of stuff is supposed to happen on during Needfest. And mummering, I don't know. It seems like I stole the thing from somewhere. I'm not really sure where, but I think it's the if it was even the Undying or something like that. It was one of these sources. I haven't noted because I put it together a long time ago, but I stole it from some of
Right.
the fairly official
Your
sources.
sources might vary.
Yeah, they vary a bit, but so the mummering and is people wear disguises and try to remain unrecognized in order to
Well, that's
celebrate the wondrous and strange effect of the magic.
huh. Well, that's
Yep.
almost Halloweeny.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but it's dark and stuff, so I can understand why you want to be a bit scary and stuff. It's the winter's time, so mummers, and they don't celebrate this in IU's the same way, because in the rest of the world, good wins at the end, but not in the Imperium IU's. So yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And then you have the Feast of Unreason that many diverse faiths, I guess including Bakob, Lydia, Lir Noribo, Olidamara, Relisa, and Critharian, and Rao, and even Ayus celebrate the Feast of Unreason. And that's a whole bunch
well,
of stuff when you go on. And in Greyhawk, it seems to be known as the Sagig's Feast. Yeah,
another crazy.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Is this the Feast of Fools, or is that later on in
Doesn't specifically say, but I think it sounds very much like it. So yeah, very
my?
much like
Yeah,
it.
my source says that so the Feast of Fools is on the last day of Needfest, and
Mm-hmm.
it's in Greyhawk City. That is,
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
and like everyone takes part. Everyone
Yep.
just
Mm-hmm.
acts goofy.
Yep. And the Mad Archmage retains his distinction as the only actual ruler that to ever be elected to preside at these festivals. Yep, he apparently he was unreasonable enough to, or dumb enough, so to speak, or crazy enough to actually do that. So mages report that the spells would occasionally misfire in odd and humorous ways during this period. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then there's the Feast of Telshur as well, and I guess that's the what is it the
Now we're talking
yeah,
winter.
exactly, the god of winter. But is that the Oridian god of winter?
Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So finally, something that fits with the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh, don't know much about that one, but I imagine.
It says here that uh, it's a very important day in Kioish, Geoff, and Ulik areas. They kind of still have Iridian routes, that was enough. And you open house and have dinner after dark, and then you have a lot of lights and stuff like that to kind of veer off winter. I have to kind of keep my hand up here so something to my poor camera can focus. I'm sorry about that.
Nebbiolo wants to know what feast.
Oh, we are into Need Fest. We start early at the year, so we're still on
Yeah.
Need Fest in that first week of the year. So, yep. So
Start of the new year. It's
hmm
because Need Fest is at the beginning of the year, not at the end. I always have to think of it like I always associate it with Christmas, but Christmas is at the end of our year.
yeah.
But it's the beginning of
Yeah,
Grey.
I think that Need Fest, yeah, Need Fest begins the new year, I think. So, yeah, so Need Fest first, that's when the new year
Yeah.
starts. So, yep.
Excuse
And
me.
I don't get, and then we have the first month Fire Seek of the year, and I don't have any particular notes on
Fire
Fire
Seek,
Seek. Yep.
as in it's so cold, I want to go out and look for fire.
Yeah, yeah. I love the names of the months are awesome because they are very descriptive. And in
Well, some of
Diamond,
my questions about that. Go
yeah,
on.
and well, in Elven it's Diamond Dice, and in Barbarians and
All right.
Nomads is Tiger, the year of the Tiger. Yeah, or the month of the tiger, sorry. And then we have readying when you're supposed to, I guess, get the crops ready or get your agricultural tools ready and farming equipment ready and stuff to
Life
start.
is harsh in Greyhawk. That's why they would start the year on a downer, Smetcher.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
harsh.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fantasy world must be harsh. It will,
It can
yep.
only get better.
Yeah. And I've noted on the readying the first, it's a star day. Then it's the festival of Bane, meaning to try to get
Bane.
rid of the undeads, and so all the attempts to turn undead have a +1 on this day. So yep,
Hey.
yep, and it's a day when there is a new Celine coming. So yep,
Hmm.
I hope it was a new Celine. So I'm saying right here. So let's see here. I'm zooming in here a bit.
I think it's interesting. Like I said, I don't know what your source was, but I kind of like that there's mechanical benefit to certain
Certain
holidays.
days, yes, yeah.
That
I
would have
probably
been a
added. Someone probably wrote sent Bane, and I probably added that in for
yeah.
my. So that's something that I for my own
Yeah.
campaign. So
So
yep,
if you think about it, the holidays are fluff, right? And for fluff, it's even fluffier than most fluff,
yeah,
unless you put practical use. Like the plot of your stories revolves around this holiday. But if you give a mechanical benefit to it, then they're going to mark that day on their calendar because they want to turn undead that day.
yeah, yep. And it's
Yeah,
kind of cool. And then I guess the might be that the clerics in certain faiths are probably out trying to make sure that they can make use of it and make sure that all those graveyards with unruly But that's another thing. We have to have a show in the future where we talk about how they actually treat death in the Flannies, because I have some
yeah.
ideas. Yeah,
Really?
because if in a
Okay.
world where undeads and people who die can kind of come back again, you
What's
don't.
death matter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's one. But if they come back as undeads, you don't really can't bury them in your backyard, and they will come back and haunt you. So yeah, but that's something else. Yep. And
That
then
makes sense.
Yep. And then we have in Reading the 10th, you have the Snowdrop Festival.
Ooh.
Yep. And that's it has something to do with the fertility and stuff too. So, oh, now my camera kind of screwed up again. So,
Yeah, nature gods, of course, are going to have a lot to do with these calendars. Your,
yep.
the seasonal gods, the druidic ones, and I think Celestian also, because of all the moon alignments.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we have what Gary Smedger was referring to, the Heartstay or Marison. That's today. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on and on readying the 14th. So yep. So that's kind of effectively today. That's the
How did I not find that? So now I got to go and change my blog. Thanks
yep,
a lot.
yep. Yep. So that's kind of cool. I found that
Huh.
somewhere it's been written, so it's kind of cool. So
Cool.
yep. So we have Merician and Heart's Day. So yep, that's Valentine's Day. Marissa is Merician. Okay, kind of cool. And let's see here. We have, and then we have something that is kind of really cool. In cold even the next month, also called
And
Snowflowers by the elves.
snowflowers.
Yeah. Then we have the Festival of the Blood Moon.
It sounds serious.
Yeah. So that's sacred to worshippers of Nerul and lawful evil cults as well. So yeah.
To answer you, Nebbiolo, I think, I mean, while some of these religions and church, there's just so many churches. You can't say one church created that calendar. But the seasons and the druids, they probably did have more influence over that
Yeah.
because they're probably the ones who bothered to like create seasons and everything.
Yeah, and you could think that there will be competing calendars. So that might be this might be an old faith calendar
Yeah,
that they kind of adopted in the Great Kingdom and so on. But there might be an elven calendar, and there might be an old in the Baklunish. They might have a different one, just like we have in the real world. We have our normal Gregorian. Then we have the Orthodox Gregorian calendars, and you have the Chinese
Chinese
calendar,
calendar.
and
Yeah,
and a whole bunch of other ones. So just like in the real world, the kind of normal European calendar, I don't know if you call that Latin or whatever, but that kind of taken over as the universal one. But the other ones, they're still celebrating a Chinese New Year in China, and they have a different year number in the Arab world and stuff like that. So you can have that in the fantasy world too, and there might be some really religions who are really tight and cults and stuff, they probably invent their own calendar and say that when we started, that was our year zero, whatever, and they kind
yeah,
of have their own
spice told.
festivals and stuff. So yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if IU's kind of declare that in his empire that there are certain other rules and stuff like that. So these can kind of be kind of cool, meaning you should know these things, and if you don't know them, and some priest or ruler or guard or something from that, when you go to IU's empire, they might interrogate you when you want to go into a city or something, and you should know these things, otherwise you're screwed, because they're common knowledge in that area or something like that. So yeah.
Blood Moon Festival.
Yep. So it's a whole bunch of different things, and it commemorates the blood red moon, which appeared all of the Flanies on this day in 294 coming year. Some sage postulates common volcanism was the source, but proponents dwindled quickly after several sages disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Elaborate ceremonies were held in fell and shadowy places, many of which are grisly and unpleasant in the extreme. This festival is now honored in Ayu's lands as well since the wars, in a mocking celebration of the sunrise surprise attacks which decimated the hierarchs of Molag in
Aha.
583. So I
Well,
guess,
sucks to be them.
yeah, yep. So the poor hierarchs, they are getting in trouble. So that seems to be a whole week. Oh, no, it's 3 days. Yep.
3 days.
Yeah, from God's cold even the 10th to cold even the 12th. Yep,
Okay.
yep,
I didn't know it was a 3 day holiday.
yep.
That just makes more time for killing, I guess.
Yeah, so they have to, and people can go in fear. And it's also, Luna has a full moon on the 11th, so that's, I guess that's the blood moon, so to speak. So yeah, just
Well,
like
we had that super
we
blood
had a
moon.
blood
Yeah, yeah,
moon here. So yep, so
yeah.
these we
That
just,
was so freaky.
yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. Let's see, and then we have then we have the week from the 22nd to the 28th of the last week of cold even. There is a trappers rendezvous leading up to Growth Fest. I'm not really sure where it comes from, but it's favored by rangers and other woodsmen apparently. And maybe it's leading up to Growth Fest. You're out there trapping and getting all
Yeah.
the preparations done for Growth Fest. So yep, spring
Hmm.
So yeah, so, and then we have a Growth Fest with Spring Equinox, and the Luna is again full.
It's where the farmers start kicking in.
Yeah, I guess that's what's preparations for go out and tend to your fields and get plant things and stuff like that. So I guess that kind of kicks off the farming season of the year. And then yeah, and then it starts with the Feast of Atroa. It's very important to Atroa,
Spring.
Beori, Beret, and Elana. So it's probably old faith stuff. And I get a sense that a lot of these festivals are old faith druidic in nature from the get-go, so to speak.
Hmm.
And then there is a Bakluni on first day of Growth Fest. There is Banapsis.
Banapsis.
Banapis. Banapis.
Banapis.
Yeah, Banapis, also known as Lusar among certain Bakluni sects who consider it to be New Year's. Huge parties with presents exchanged considered everybody's birthday, not celebrated in Sul lands, which consider celebration of any but one's actual birthday to be evidence of ignorance and barbarism.
Hmm.
Yep. So yep. We have some cool things going on in chat here. That's good. You keep an eye on that and all the
Oh,
questions.
Gary's just showing off stuff that he never released.
Oh, awesome! We need to kind of copy the whole thing here and
30
save it.
pages of unreleased Dragon article.
Oh,
Dropping that right into the middle of chat.
wow. Kurt Wackford. Cool.
Now, the only festival I know in Growfest is, and I might be skipping ahead on you, I don't know.
No. I think I'm just looking at it here. Yeah.
Disportium of Magic in the city of Greyhawk. It's one of my favorites.
Yes. On the 7th, the free day of yeah. There's two things apparently, but yeah, on that day. But
on the same day. Okay.
Yep.
In the same city?
No, one is Fool's Day, sacred to Uli Damara and other trickster gods on that day too.
Don't they have enough holidays?
No, I guess Uli Damara can't have enough holidays. He probably wanted to be holiday every day.
I thought like Brewfest was entirely about him.
But he can't wait for that every year. So, but what about the Disportium of Magic?
That's where all the wizards and illusionists get together and they have a like a magic competition, and it's like judged. You know, they try to come up with the best special effects, illusions, whatever.
Yep.
So to me, it's almost like 4th of July. You know?
Yeah, because the notes here I have is held at night in and around the Great Citadel.
Yeah. And because it's not just like flashy lights. I imagine this is like that fireworks dragon.
Illusions and fire spells and flashes and lightning and all sorts of stuff. Yep.
So the whole city would obviously see this because it's held up at the Citadel.
Yeah, which I imagine it being on some sort of a hill at least a little bit.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be some kind of reenactments of monsters attacking the walls. And everything.
Old history things and awesome.
Which would have to be a great time for thieves to work.
Yeah. And everyone is there looking at it, and they're not at home watching their property, and they're also standing there, pickpocketed, ready, and
Yep.
Cool. And then we have the month of planting, and that comes after Growth Fest, which is another very appropriate name.
Yep, farmers working on them fields.
Yep, and in Elven it's called Blossoms. And then we have there comes another one, Uli Damara. He's really tough on festivals, and that's on the planting 12th. It's Tanabat, also known as a Seven Sisters Festival. Legend has it that Oldemara was entertained on this day by seven lovely sisters. So I guess the Oldemara people who follow Oldemara, they get together and celebrate that and rejoice and drink and stuff. So yep, and it's on a water day, not so they get an extra day there. So and then we have that was the end of planting, and then comes the month of flock time. And the first of flock time is Beori's Day. Villagers sing and dance around a wooden pole to celebrate the passing of the seasons and the blessings of spring.
It's
Sounds
May.
yeah, it sounds a bit like the
It's a maypole.
maypole and yeah,
Yeah.
and but
How clever.
yeah, in Sweden we actually moved that from May to Midsummer, but it's the same tradition. And the Scandinavian countries, we took the maypole from Germany and down there and moved it. So, but this is yep. So this is the Beeri's Day, very much like the maypole and stuff. So yep.
Huh.
And then apparently in the second week of flock time on the 8th, the dwarves have some ritual of Hanikai or something. I can't pronounce that. It's kind of cleansing
No
of the
idea. I
cleansing
didn't
of the
even
mountains.
consider dwarves. So
Yeah,
what would this be like? Mithril the Seventh or something?
yeah, something like that. So it's
Their month's called.
cleansing of the mountains. Ritual humanoid hunts are conducted. Some humans, mountaineer rangers also participate in celebrates in the Ula's hunt. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
See, someone got real creative there using
Yep.
some
Yep. So
gear
that is going
yeah.
on a whole week. The second week of flock time. It's Ula's hunt up in the mountains. So that's kind of really cool. And then we have something that is kind of tied close to the campaign. On flock time the 15th, it's actually Saint Cuthbert's Day.
Yep, St. Cuthbert's Day.
Yep.
And I've seen conflicting. So, what month is St. Cuthbert's Day?
Flock time, according to what I've read somewhere. So
Yeah,
that's why I put it in there.
I've already seen conflicting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's very popular.
Yeah, but that's often the nature with stuff like this, and there's something noted here, and then someone else came up with something without checking all the previous sources written over the past.
I was just gonna jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Dragon Magazine, back in 3.5 days, used to do these articles on some of the core deities that were Greyhawk deities, like Palor, Witch Gods, Hieronymus, Cuthbert, and these are great articles if you can track them down, get them, because they go into detail on a lot of the customs and myths and holidays of these major deities.
I've taken a bunch of these from those articles.
Yeah, so go find that.
Yep, that's a great idea. Yep. And there used to be, I bought that CD, a set of 5 CDs, but had the 251st numbers of Dragon.
Yeah.
And I was so lucky that I got that one, so I got the first 250 in PDF.
Yeah, I wish there was something like that for the rest of it.
But a lot of them were the latest one were actually free, so to speak, that you could download them on. But those were the during 5th edition and on during 4th and 5th edition they were open. Then there's in between doing the Paizo period, but a lot of them are probably possible to still get them. They might still have a few of them in print, or that are laying around somewhere to be sold. Okay, so we have, and then we have on the flock time the 18th. It's the Dark Night, which to me is kind of weird because it's like in early summer, late spring, which is kind of weird. That it seems to be sacred. So I'm thinking in my campaign I should move it to somewhere in the winter when it's really dark. So we'll see. Yeah. But then there is the Dark Night. Yeah.
Dark Night.
Yep.
And is that because
there's no moon? Exactly. There's no moon on the 18th. So yep.
Sounds like another good day for all those narrow types.
Yeah. And all the rolls against undeads are at -4.
Oh.
Yep. and also evil priest cast spells if they were one level higher.
Nebula's right. Bocob don't need a holiday. He's the uncaring one.
Exactly, he doesn't care. Yep, yep, that's a very
Great.
good one. So, yep. And then we go into, let's see here. Wheel Sun is the next month, and it's the also it's called Berry Time in Elven. And then
Very.
we have it starts with that month starts with the festival of the arrival of Mayahain, or Mayahain, or however you pronounce it. It's the
Hmm.
festival of the blinding light of Polthus, and
Oh,
and the arrival of Mayahain, of Godrys, and then it's the festival of the blinding light. So I guess that in the
okay.
theocracy of the Pale, it's kind of the
Right.
probably the holiest week of the year.
Oh man, it's
Yep.
Easter
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yep.
big one.
hmm And that was the first, and then we go into the 17th of Wheel Sun. There is a ceremony of the turning, and I haven't read about this, but it's the celebrated among the Flan. And in
The
Druidic
fan.
communities, so that's something really tied to the old faith, apparently. It's the when they take the kids. The kids run out in the forest, and they go out there to find their true name. And they go
That
out.
sounds dangerous.
Yeah, but the thing is that they have rangers and even some elves in good line countries. They participate, and they go out there and
Oh,
make sure they stay safe.
I was gonna say, who created this holiday? A bunch of hags,
Yeah, yep, something. So
their candy
the kid,
houses.
yeah, the kids are supposed to be out there until they found their true name,
Oh,
and then they go back in the evening to the village or town, and they have started a bonfire, and then they whisper the name into the fire, and then it becomes their true name.
that's pretty neat.
Yep. So that's the ceremony of the turning on Wheel Sun, and that's kind of cool because you can make kind of a campaign event about it or something. So it's kind of cool. Um, and that was the end of. Then you have Rich Fest, Midsummer.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Rich Fest.
Yep.
So is this like tax time? When you get your tax
I
returns?
guess that should be. Isn't that around like when you have harvest in
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
in the like Brewfest or something like that. I don't know. Rich Fest maybe. Yep.
I don't know.
So then there is yeah, Midsummer. You have the Sea Lord's Feast, celebrated in coastal areas, the Festival of the Blue Moon, when
Hmm.
the Selene is full midweek. And it's also in some communities it's called the Feast of Sotilion. I guess
Ooh,
is that the Oridian god of the oceans, or
summer.
summer? Okay.
No,
Yep.
it's summer goddess.
Yep.
Their father is Procan, which is a sea god.
hmm And then we have
So kind of
Midsummer's
ties
Day.
in.
Yep. Considered the holy day of Pelor, sun. I guess it's midsummer when the sun is up, the longest
Oh,
days and
it's
stuff.
getting
So
hot.
yeah. Uh, and then the midsummer's night, and you have yep. So it's the
So yeah, Midsummer's Night. That's one that
hmm
I was reading about.
yep.
Midsummer's Night apparently is where like I think both moons are full or something like that because they
Oh
said
yeah,
that
exactly
werewolves are
on
like
the fourth. Yeah,
supercharged.
Growth Fest fourth. That's when both
Yeah,
moons are.
double full moons. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And there's also says that in Theocracy of the Pale, they don't celebrate Palor, they celebrate Fultus instead.
Ooh,
Yeah. Oh
boo.
yeah, but they can't abandon their Fultus or yeah. And then after after Richfest or Midsummer comes the reaping, the month of reaping, and
Is that
called
like Narrow's month?
yeah. And yeah, and in Elven it's called the month of Goldfields, which I also think is an awesome name.
Yeah, I like that.
hmm And there's not much in the form of special. There is one on the
Where
25th.
I live, it would be green fields.
Okay, don't you get like
All
these
the, all
yellow
the
and
corn.
Oh,
all
that's
the
true.
corn
That
and
corn, yeah. I'm so used more wheat and oats and stuff like that. They turn yellow in the fields. Yeah.
yeah.
And on the 25th of reaping, there's Sotilion's Day, and popularly known as Labor Day. Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Hmm.
Meaning you don't work on that day. So, yeah.
Oh, so this is like an additional day off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
like a two
Yep.
day.
You have God's
Yep.
Day, but instead of worship, you're supposed to do nothing. So, yeah.
Ah,
hmm
which would be like really good for, you know, I mean, for someone who worships Bocob,
Yeah.
who or doesn't care, it'd be just like a normal day for you.
Yeah. Yep. And then starts after then comes after reaping comes the month of good month, and in
Good
Elven it's
month.
called sunflowers, and it starts with the King's Festival in Foryundi Veluna. So I get, yeah, so probably from the days when the old king of Ferond was, so it's probably from that when Veluna and Divers and Foryundi was kind of the kingdom of Ferond, so it's probably from that.
Hmm.
And the Grand Mott Festival involves large archery competition, fair, and festivities devoted to the gods of luck, uh, Istus, Ralisla, Noribo, and Rud. That's on the 4th of Good Month, in the middle of the King's Festival. And the King Festival a whole
Cool.
week. Yep. And then the good months goes on, and there is no other. Oh, then at the end, last week of good month is the miners' fairs.
Miners,
Yep,
huh?
apparently in traditionally that's when the miners kind of display their wares and stuff. I don't know, but it's yep.
Hmm.
And then after that comes the month of harvester. Now we're into fall. Yeah,
Harvester.
and in Elven they have another, I think, awesome name, the month of fruitfall, which I think is so cool. Yep,
It's literal.
yep. And the it's second week of Harvester is the Loggers Feast. I guess they get
Ooh.
ready to after harvest and stuff. They go out and chop down trees and do all stuff like that. So
I don't think the elves worship that holiday.
no, I don't think so either. That's
Yeah.
true. Yep. So you have the Loggers Fest, and
Yeah.
And then on the 20th of Harvester, that is Raksa Bandan, a Bakluni's festival.
Roxabanda.
Yep,
Oh.
is still celebrated in those lands and in Perland and Highfolk as well. A celebration of siblings, usually, but not always. Blah 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 something. So yep, it's something about you should celebrate and honor your bonds with your siblings and family traditions and stuff. Yep, and that
Harvester.
And the end.
Harvester the
Oh, cool.
28th.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is what you're about to say.
Yeah. No, go on, please.
Harvester 28th in the city of Greyhawk is election day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
So, how fair are the elections in Greyhawk? I get the
Uh,
sense that you need to be one of the guilds, and you need to bribe a bunch of people
yeah.
and stuff
Well,
like that.
I think there's two levels to this,
Uh huh.
because there's like the mayor, I think, is elected within the directing oligarchs, and
Okay. Oh,
then
yeah. So yeah. But
for
who
something else.
so the I get the sense that the oligarchs are elected, like
That's
certain
good.
guilds have a member, a standing member, meaning the guilds of merchants have like an oligarch that sits in the council and stuff like that. Or
Oh,
how do you think
sure,
that
it's
works?
very crooked. I'm sure it's very crooked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so
Yeah.
too. It makes more fun in the game if it's kind of crooked
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, but there is.
Just like in our favorite state. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Insert favorite state.
Yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
state of Chicago, for
Yeah.
instance.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's kind of yep, and there is the Imperium festival in Great Kingdom that week too, from the 25th to the 28th. There is a festival in Great Kingdom still celebrated in Roxas. I'm not so sure that in late after they celebrate that many
Maybe.
festivals, but
Maybe.
yep,
Nice.
in Sephron's lands and some areas. So yep, so they had they used to have the Imperial festival in Great Kingdom that week. So yep,
Even evil people have to
yeah.
celebrate, I guess.
And then comes the next big festival, Brewfest.
Brewfest.
Yeah. I kind of love that name more than all the other one. It's kind of so cool.
This would be where Winter and
hmm
Oladamara shine.
Yep, the Feast of Wenta. Yep, that starts right away. That's the biggest things. Yep, and they are celebrate with the Regal Games in Neoldra in Keelland. Yep,
Regal names, nice.
yep, and very important to Wenta, Beret, Beori, and Oli Demara.
Hmm.
And then after the Brewfest comes the month of Patchwall. I guess then when it gets cold, you're supposed to start fixing your houses
Patch
and
your
stuff.
walls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And in Elven, it's another beautiful name, the month
Uh,
of Brightleaf, which I think is so
yeah.
cool. Yep.
Nebula was asking if Brewfest is celebrated everywhere, and I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
Maybe not to the same extent. Like what I read was in the city of Greyhawk, Brewfest is mainly celebrated on the first and seventh day of that week.
Ah, okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you did the whole week, they'd be drunk all week, right?
that's true. Yeah.
Um, so I think every country probably does it differently.
And there might be some areas like in Beclunish areas they might not be that keen on it. Maybe I don't know the traditions like
Yeah.
that. And then there's probably the theocracy of the pale, where they either are so desperate to live in that theocracy that they don't drink at all, or they maybe drink
I
like
would like to
crazy.
think that in the Hold of the Sea Princes, those pirates, scallywags get
Oh,
along
they
and really nice
they
that week.
probably go like crazy. Yeah.
Drinking and
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, meaning everyone is placarded the whole week, and they kind of
yeah.
yeah. And on the patch wall, the seventh, the first end of the first week, there is the
So that's getting cold.
bell ringers feast
Ooh,
in all but Brotherhood, in not in the Brotherhood lands and Great Kingdom, in everywhere except in the Great Kingdom lands and not down in the Scarlet Brotherhood, but the rest of it. So the west, the north, and so on. They celebrate the largest bell in the region, and they ring it, and then they exchange treats and baked goods and stuff and listen to the biggest bell in the area. So yep.
huh? Ringing bells.
hmm yep. uh,
Hmm.
and then we have then the on the patch wall, the 11th, then
11.
that's the druidic festival of Lammas.
Huh.
hmm
Never heard of it.
Yep, me neither, but it sounds fun. Yep. And then we have on the Patchwall the 18th. That is the Vicaris, originally celebrated at Samhain, Odgis Samha, and Hallows Eve in Joff and the Ulic states and in Druidic area. So there's another old faith thing here, apparently.
Hey Gribbly, thanks for joining
Welcome.
Legends.
Yep.
He has a very, very good question, and thank you for subscribing to the Greg channel.
hmm
He's asking about practical tips for keeping track of time in your campaigns, and I really don't have a good answer for that. Besides, not to sound crass, but printing off a calendar,
hmm
and I know they're online. People have made many Greyhawk calendars
Yep.
online.
Yep.
Just print one off
Mhm.
and scratch them out.
Yep. And I don't only do whole days. I actually do like morning, midday, and afternoon, evening, and night, so to speak. So I have like five times of the day, so to speak. So like morning, and then midday, and afternoon, evening, and nighttime. So I simply and I check them out. I have like a very simple form, but I have that for each day, and then I
Yeah.
write down the day that is happening, and then I simply, now they've done the morning things, then I just check that off, and then they go out and do things, and now it's midday, and I check that off, and there's combat and stuff. So I simply then I know what type part of the day it is, so to speak. So I keep track of stuff like that because I want the world to kind of influence things. So all of a sudden there are people out moving and all sorts of things are happening, and then all of a sudden there is no one around. Everyone is having lunch, and then there's like bells ringing for people to to go off from the fields or out to the fields or go to prayer or whatever it is. So I try to note these so characters get that kind of feel for when things happening and when they have patrol changes and the city guards and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So things and I also assume that most creatures they don't have a clock, so they simply go by time. So when the sun comes up, that's the time you know about, and then when the sun is the middle of the day, that's another time when you can kind of say that instead of saying we meet in an hour, we either meet morning or when noon when the sun is the highest, and then we meet when the sun
Right.
is setting. Those are basically the only three times a day when people can keep track of.
I hope that answers the second question then, because like
Yeah,
in fifth edition, at any rate, they have the short and long rest.
yeah, mm-hmm,
So
yep.
I think long rest is kind of fitting into your daily schedule. I
Yeah.
don't know so much about the short ones.
Yeah,
But
but the short one is like after each encounter, you can take a few minutes off and then recover some of the resources.
yeah.
So that's my try to do it. And
All right.
there is a lot of campaign trackers, various tools and stuff that have aids for this that you can kind of keep track of the calendars and stuff. So I keep track of the five different stages of the day, and then when all these five boxes are ticked, then you go into the next morning and so on. So yep.
I'm
Oh yes.
terrible keeping track of time. I used to do it all the very
Uh-huh.
well, but
Yeah.
now I really jump around. It just
Yeah.
really depends on my mood. If I want to run something in the winter, eh,
Yeah. But I
that's how I
guess
set the stage.
yeah, but I guess it also depends on what style of game you're having. If you
Yeah.
run like adventure paths and stuff, when you move from encounter to encounter and you have scenes and stuff
Yeah.
to go, then it's not that really that important. Then you can just say that now you approach the temple and it's evening, for instance, or you
Right.
decide to go to temple in the morning and then you just play out that scene and then afterwards you figure
Yeah.
out what time it is. But I run a very sandboxy where they kind of go around in the world and then it becomes more important. So it's up to you
Okay.
in whatever DMing style how much emphasis you want to put on it. Oh, Sindor sets the hourglass. That's a kind of cool thing. You can have your little hourglass. That's awesome because I think that's kind of a timepiece that is often used is to have the yeah. Mm-hmm.
What month were we on?
Patch wall and so yep, we are in patch wall here, and I'll see if I have nothing more in patch wall, and now we're getting into the end of closer to the end of the year with the month of ready read. I'm not
Ready?
really yeah. What
Yeah.
would
What's
that
that
be?
mean?
Yeah,
That is my question.
yep,
Anyone in chat? What's ready
yeah.
reet?
In
For,
Elven
for
is Tinkling Ice, which I another one of these. I love the Elven month
well,
names. They are
it's
fantastic.
November.
Yeah, and now I need
It's
to see if
still
I can.
autumn. It's still autumn, and they're
Yeah,
talking
it's
about
oh
ice.
yeah, but it's
The
kind of
autumn
the
ice.
season seems to be a bit like we say them here in California that they're kind of behind after things, so to
Yeah.
speak. It's yeah. So and then we have and in Ready Read the on the 5th, then comes the turning of the Shebar stone.
What's
Uh,
that?
the famous Oridian hero of awesome strength, also a way of clearing the land. Apparently, you kind of clear your fields after the harvest and stuff from big
Makes
rocks and stuff,
sense.
and you kind of yeah. That's so that's what they call the turning of the shepherd stone when you build these kind of uh, like long sections of boulders that lines the fields. And then on the Redireet the 7th, that's the Festival of Hope. Healing and atonement is offered, especially by priest of Pelor, and also for Zodal. That's the Baklunish god of healing and stuff, isn't it?
Zodal is like
I'm not sure. I've heard the name, but I'm not really.
benevolence and
Ah, okay.
like a peace god.
Uh-huh. Okay. So yeah, so
Yeah.
those priests they offer healing and atonement and stuff.
Hmm.
Am I supposed?
Well,
I'm
Paler
assuming.
should be doing that year round. I don't know why
Yeah,
they haven't. They were Palers like
yeah, but
really.
also they're supposed to go out and help people in need
Uh,
and so on and so forth. So yep. And then yeah, then we'll see. And then comes the on the 11th to the 14th, that's the days of dedication, sacred
Ooh.
to the followers of
Oh,
Criterion.
nice.
Yep, and the day of
Didn't think about him.
remembrance, and the day of reflection, the day of retribution, and the
Which,
great free days. The great free day ends the days of dedication. So I guess it's part of their theme to think, to be vengeful, and strike back at the oppressors, and then you can
Day
rejoice in
of
freedom.
Retribution. Is that like The Purge?
Yeah, you
You ever
kind of
hear of that
it's
movie?
like,
The Purge. Is that where you
oh
go to
yeah, yep.
kill people?
Yep. So it's 4 days of going through that. They probably, yeah, they go through their whole thing. So yep. So followers are supposed to, the day of reflection, you're supposed to think over your life and stuff. The day of
Huh.
remembrance, when you remember all the ones that have died, and previous ones that have fought for Criterion and stuff. And then the followers reflect on their lives and goals and stuff. And the day of retributions, where you swear oaths, and then you go over the ones previous oaths and stuff, and you go out and get after the ones that have kind of broken the oaths and stuff like that. And then you have public disputes and stuff among the faithful
Huh.
are judged, and so on, by priests and stuff. So yep. And then
Let me break
afterwards,
in
yeah,
here. So St. Michael's asking about Sulois being an immigrant population, and the Backlunish were in the Flanaeus beforehand. Well, if we're talking just about the map, I
yeah,
think Backlunish areas are more of a colonized area, like that is part of their old lands, whereas the Sulois are more like refugees that were displaced from their homeland.
yeah, we
So
can.
if I had to really quibble, I would say Sulois are more immigrant than the Backlunish are, because not a whole lot of Backlunish went down Ket.
Exactly. The Baclunish, they kind of their empire stretched this whole area around here. Hang on a second. I'll get
Yeah,
some
yeah. I'm just kind of emphasizing that the Backlunish aren't
yeah.
necessarily immigrants,
Yeah, so this area was traditionally the Baclunish Empire. And
unless you count the nomads.
yeah. And then, but there is a
You know,
large part
nomads.
up here that the
Yeah, they're
Baclunish
nomads.
still kind of live and thrive in. So that's why less of them actually probably moved into it. But the
Yeah,
Suluas comes from traditionally down here. So I'll
right.
make that yellow. So this
I
area
mean, they
here.
went all the different corners of the map and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
whereas the Oridians kind of stayed in the middle.
Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit of the background. So good,
Right.
I got to use for my map again. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Yep, good question. So let's see here. Then yeah, that was the days of dedication in Ready Read for Tutarian. That's another cool thing that you can kind of weave into to campaign and stuff. So
What day are you up to?
I'm in Ready Read on the 11th to the 14th of Ready Read, and then there is nothing more in
I got
Ready
a
Read.
Ready Read.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
Okay, on Ready Read the 25th, I think,
Mm-hmm.
is a Hieronymus holiday called Valormite, like Valorous, the god of valor.
Oh.
And Hexdor has a holiday called Discord Might, I think,
Uh-huh.
which is on the same day. Of course, two
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
brothers kind of conflicted here. And it's like has something to do with the Greek kingdom, and it's memorializing a battle, something or other.
Oh, awesome. Mm-hmm.
But their holidays on the same day, and they
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of play it off as it's
Mm-hmm.
some great victory for each side.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
awesome.
all.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Now I'll put that in my
You can find that
calendar here.
on. You can Wikipedia that
Mm-hmm.
on.
Cool. And then comes the what I think is the last month of the year, Sun's Ebb. Wonderful
Yeah.
name. And then the elven name is Lazy Snows, which I think is another awesome name here. And then there is, I go through here, 15th, there is on the 23rd of Sunseb, there is Marywood, a parade of white costumed followers led by white robed person wearing a horse skull, singing blessings at the doors of villages and rewarded with treats. Ah, it's the Saint Lucia. It's from Northern Europe. We have Lucia. That's the thing. But it's popular among geophytes or people in Geoff and
Zoophytes?
yeah,
I don't know.
Geophytes or something. Yeah, how to pronounce it? And Tena and Sterius as well, and the county of Ulick and Greyhawk, adopted by New Almoria. I'm not. Yeah, so okay.
New Almoria. So
Well,
this is
yeah, it's like
words.
Almor,
Yeah.
the province of Almor in
Yeah.
Nyrond, I guess. Yep. So that's the celebration of Merrywood. So it's yep.
Grizzly's got some good ideas. You need to come here more often.
Yeah, definitely. I hope we can come every week. Yep. Perfect. And then the last week of Sunseb is the Days of Thought. And they are devoted, sacred to devotees of Rao and Deleb.
Ooh, my favorite.
Yep. So then the faithful of Rao and Deleb are supposed to spend in study and kind of revelation and stuff like that. So yep, self-examination and study and so yep.
I like to think of myself as an avatar of Deleb.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite
And that
obscure
was
names.
yeah, that was all the festivals and dates and stuff that I've kind of
So when you get down there towards the end of the year, everyone knows Need Fest is coming back up again.
yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So then it starts all over again. Yep.
Full circle.
So that was a quick kind of rundown of the Flanny's year.
And you know what, Nebbiolo? Anna really had a good list there, but I guarantee you there's way more Greyhawk holidays.
Oh
There's
yes,
so
if you go through, yeah, this is some things that I've just picked up when I've done my map research and
I think
for my
if you
campaign.
really went crazy, you could find one either official or fancy
Yeah,
for
that
every
is
day.
one that I forgot to put in here. That I forgot what day it was, but it was sometime during spring, I think. That they had along the Velverdiva, they have the festival of fishing when villages and town along the Velverdiva they went out and went fishing. So yeah.
See, you totally got me thinking now about my Sea Princess campaign and how I really don't have any holidays that I've kind of come up with.
Yeah.
Maybe one, but
Yeah.
it wasn't ever really related to any seasons or sea gods like Procan or
Yeah.
Zerbo.
Yeah.
And you really got me wondering now.
Yeah, because I think it's kind of cool that you have, because a fantasy world is much more like a traditional agricultural medieval, because that's what the whole thing is based on, so to speak. And then the seasons and traditions and stuff were played a much bigger role than it does in our modern societies. I think it's kind of ties in with the theme. But there is also a bunch of other holidays that don't follow the normal calendar. You have, I'm thinking things like dragons. They might have holidays and things that comes every century or so.
Like a day of the year where the dragons are.
And they might, because they have their life cycle is so much longer, so they might have some recurring event that happens every 50 years or every 100 years or something like that. And elves might have that too. That's a festival that happens every century or something like that.
Two of Carthan's, mentioning the tides, and with 2 moons, I don't even know how tides work.
That is the thing. But Selene, isn't that a smaller moon than Luna? So they might smaller. But on the other hand, each festival that might be a spring tide that is way more pronounced than other tides. Yep.
Yeah. Ooh, dead wash. Is that like where the dead wash up on the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Actually, I do have a holiday that I created.
Okay.
Cover your ears, Smedger. This is the Najam Festival in Ul.
Oh yes, I was.
So for you in chat, that's the Najam Festival, and it's like I said, it's during Rich Fest, but it's actually a 2-week holiday.
Okay.
So Ul celebrates Rich Fest, and then they have a 2 week long thing, and it's all the tribes kind of gather around the capital of Ulakand, and
Mm-hmm.
there's this big, your usual, feasting and
Yeah.
drunken revelry. And then they have this big race all the way around the Ulspru Mountain, and it's like an annual competition, and
Yeah.
the best horse riders, the hardiest horse riders take, it's like a rite of manhood.
Mm-hmm.
They race around the mountain range, and whoever gets back first wins, and you get all these accolades and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone knows that this holiday's coming up, so all the ogres and all the
Oh,
monsters,
they are
all
out
the
there trying to stop them
bandits,
and yeah,
they
treat.
know that
Yeah.
holiday's coming up, and they're going
Mm-hmm.
to kill those horse riders. So it's dangerous.
Oh wow,
It's a
that's
dangerous
that
holiday.
sounds like an awesome event. Both participating in it and spec. Oh, it's awesome.
And no one would even understand the festival outside of
Yeah.
the
You
nomadic
need to
lands.
write an article about that.
It's in one
Definitely.
of my articles
Oh,
at
perfect. Yeah, I haven't read them now in
fire.com.
like 10 years, so I need to. Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
I'm trying to remember. I think it's Ulacan City of Horses.
Okay. Oh,
Part,
that's fantastic. Okay, part two. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh, this is awesome. Yeah.
So there you go. That's the one holiday I've created.
Oh, that's
Um,
fantastic. Yep.
but yeah, we got a lot
Yeah,
of stuff
I've
in
read
got
my
there.
PDF too much, so I haven't kept anywhere near
Huh.
what I should be keep attention
No,
to chat.
no,
So yeah,
they've just been chiming in as you've gone
yeah,
along.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, the Night Protectors. Anna had mentioned also like Saint Bane had a holiday,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
I think it would be cool if like more of those knighthoods had relevant holidays that they favored, like the Knights of Holy Shielding being, like say they worship Harania, so they favor this holiday or whatever.
Yeah. And that
Knights of the
worship.
Heart.
Yeah, and you can put in like mechanic stuff in there that certain festivals and times you something is more difficult or it's easier or you get a bonus if you
Uh,
do certain things and stuff like that. So
well,
mm-hmm.
Saint Karga, Gribley's just knock him out of the park here. Kargoth as a tragic figure. Talk to P.
Oh,
Smedger there.
yes. Mm-hmm.
He's the authority on Death Knights.
Oh, Kargoth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's fantastic.
I would say the tragic thing about Kargoth is that he was seduced by Lady Kath, who is a pretty hideous individual. He was probably fooled into, you know, knighthood, death knighthood, if I recall. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of cool stuff. I now I'm starting to lose it. It was like 6, 7 years ago. I ran a campaign set in United Kingdom of Alyssa, where I had these Duke Zephyrin and some of the Death Knights came back and stuff. That was part of that, and so there's some tie-ins, but now I'm
Cricketers.
starting to it's starting
That's
to fade again because there was so many years since I now it's like 6, 7 years, yeah, 6, 7 years since I
between the
studied it.
Death Knights and the Animus,
Hmm.
Animi.
Yeah, that part of
There's so many undead.
yeah, and it was so cool because that part of the Flannies before I ran that campaign, it was kind of unknown to me because I've already been around IUs and the Veluna and around yeah Febobonk and these old traditional that way, but then all of a sudden the
Thanks, Nebula.
hmm
Yeah, go and check out the couples. I think I even mentioned Kargoth in that article
cool, yep.
briefly.
And yep, let's see. I think I have.
Uh,
Yep.
let's see calendars. What other couples did I do that weren't in the blog post? You mean? Okay, Gribbly. I have a Greyhawk blog called Greyhawkery. So go to. I don't know if we can post links in here or not.
We can.
It's
You and
just
me should be able to. Yep.
Google Greyhawkery and you'll find it. Yeah, Weejaz and Noribo. I loved cartooning those two.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very functional couple. Uh, but yeah, Greyhawk has all kinds of couples in novels, like Gygax, Gord novels,
Oh yeah,
or
he's out there fraternizing with. I forgot. It was kind of cool that he had with the daughter of Count Bleemu,
yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and that was kind of awesome, and they were, and then yeah, there was kind of a lot of fiddling going on, and he was trying to rescue her, and he was captured and stuff like that. I loved it. I remember I read that when I was like 20 or something, and
So
it
you
was
have a
fun.
lot of these, you have groups like, this courtly love type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
nobility.
Yep.
Then you get evil couples
Mm-hmm.
like Igwilv and
Oh yes,
Grazit.
and Grast,
Uh,
he's one of these awesome seducers that I kind
yeah.
of just it's fantastic. Yep.
Then you have your deities like Weejaz and
Mm-hmm.
Noribo. Uh, I didn't go a whole lot of detail on the deities. There's a lot of pairs. Um, and then there, what was the other? Uh, yeah, I already forgot. I wrote the damn article. Uh, and then there's the obscure ones. I actually, my favorite one is between is Urag, Smedger's favorite Greyhawk hero, Urag, and his girlfriend Karen, who runs the fruit of the mill in the city of Greyhawk. I think it's a very sweet, low level. I mean, he's high level, but she's like
Mm-hmm.
just a peasant.
Yeah.
She's not an adventurer, but she's dating an adventurer. I think it's a very sweet couple that you can drop into a campaign uh, to show that it's not all about kings and queens and gods and
Mm-hmm.
demon princes. You can have
Yeah.
normal people kind of stand out. But yeah, all kinds of couples in Greyhawk if you're into doing those long-term romantic storylines in your campaigns. Does your egg have memory problems? No, I think he just has an addiction to magic and like all them other heroes, and they live too long, and then they just they keep dating younger than they
Yeah.
are because
Oh
it's kind of similar thing with Jalarzi, Salavarian of the Circle
yeah.
of Bane,
Mm-hmm.
and her significant other is Kieran Jalushin. Kieran Jalushin is a very old mage who makes him, but magically makes himself look 30. Jalarzi really is 30. She's a young mage relatively.
Yeah.
So I guess in fantasy, land when you can de-age yourself, it don't, age don't matter.
And then we have Saint Michael the Paladin. I want to run a game with Igvilv as the focus at some point. That sounds like an awesome, cool
Oh yeah.
idea. Yep. Igvilv, one of these, yeah, one of
Oh
the
yeah.
villains that is legendary in Greyhawk.
On and off again.
Yeah, and you have Oslan Knarren or Naren. Yep.
Yeah, Duke Carthan's right. He has a lot of enemies, but
Mm-hmm.
in this particular storyline, from it's the adventure begins. So this would be 591 CY. He she don't know he's Irag. He goes by the name Ir,
Mm-hmm.
YR, which apparently is a common name,
Mm-hmm.
in this area. So I don't think she knows he is the epic hero Irag. She just
Okay.
thinks he's like some ordinary mercenary guy.
Yeah.
But the people, the big, movers and shakers in the city know who he really is, and that's why they leave his girlfriend alone. Yeah.
And then we have Grasts and Igvilv, the
Hmm.
Greyhawks power couple of love. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Power, literally power. They're
Yeah.
both
Mm-hmm.
conquer countries,
Yep.
conquer,
Planes and
planes.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, trying to capture each other and trap them and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
make them do. you know,
Yeah.
home favors.
Yeah, I think that the Oslan and the other Death Knights are in the Greyhawk living Greyhawk journals that I think are now available at on the DM's Guild again. I think there you can find more stuff on the Death Knights. I forgot which one of them, but there are in some of the Greyhawk living Greyhawk journals there are a whole
Um,
bunch of articles about the Death
the
Knights.
ones
Yeah,
that were in the magazines.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
longer versions of them, with stats, pictures, and a whole bunch of stuff. So, and you can probably get them for a buck or two per living Greyhawk journal. So that they're great.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Do,
See.
do we have any more
You
kind of?
know,
Yeah.
St. Michael brought up Alareth, and he he missed my cut. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know enough about Lareth to put him in there, but someone who's named Lareth the Beautiful,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's from Temple of Elemental Evil campaign,
right.
isn't he?
There's got to
Yeah.
be something going on with that,
Mm-hmm.
NPC, and I
Yeah.
just put my finger on it. Uh, yeah. As for birth dates, who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Uh, but yeah, it would just be up to you, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, so many comments. I can only
Yeah.
see half of them in their kind of
Yeah.
drill
Does Drills have a Dronza? Does
drills.
she have a love story? Who's her
Uh,
significant?
I was going to say the name rings a bell somewhere, but I have to search on it. So yeah.
That's another one I didn't really go after because I didn't want to like linger too much on the whole I use family tree.
Yeah.
Easy to do. She'd have to be turned.
Oh, she's mentioned in the new 5e, the Lost Laboratory of Qualish, apparently.
Hmm.
Yep. So now I'm getting curious. So I'm just
I'm thinking about running that. I don't know when, but it's on my to-do list is to
uh-huh.
run that module.
Yeah, I can't run adventures the way they're written. I'd have to kind of adapt them.
Right.
Mary claims to be. Oh, the vampire Drelsna,
Yeah.
a descendant of Igvolv and Baba Yaga.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be mom and grandma.
Yeah,
I don't know if she ever had a significant other.
I don't know. It's kind of. It seems like it's kind of interesting. Igvolv and Baba Yaga had something. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Smedger,
Igvolv.
my theory
Yeah.
is that Arquessa loves herself. That's why she always makes copies of herself.
That's and if you make copies, that kind of makes
Yeah.
the certain things
I think she's
possible.
infatuated with
Yeah.
himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty scary evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect recurring villain. I can't. I mean, there's. It's hard to make recurring villains in D&D. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, they have a tendency of the players have a tendency of killing them. So yeah.
Right. Right.
Yep.
This one's like, go ahead, keep killing her.
Yep.
The wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. Yeah. And then it kind of makes you feel sorry for him because it's elven women. Oh, I don't want to kill an elven woman. What if it's the wrong Marquesa? So
Yeah.
throws a little doubt into your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, we have very Games of Thronesy, and we have to be before the next season comes over us and winter's here again, and
Ugh.
and we will get overwhelmed with Games of Thrones things. But that, on the other hand, that can be an awesome, inspiring way of creating new, cool drama things going on in Greyhawk too. So yeah. Well, yeah, I agree, Gary, that it's hard to fool the PCs these
Mm.
days. Yeah. That's why you always want to have a couple of newbies in your campaign, players that haven't played before, so you can
Right.
kind of so you can reuse some tricks. Yep.
All right. Actually, you asked me what I was up to on Greyhawk.
Hmm.
Actually, this Saturday I'm starting a new mini Greyhawk campaign. A
Oh,
couple of my
awesome.
friends,
Hmm.
Jason, and
Yeah.
uh,
So,
it's just going to be
what the
three of
backstory?
us, two players, one DM,
Uh huh. Cool.
and no backstory right now. I
Uh
think we're
huh.
just going to fidget around until they're high enough level to do some published adventures.
Yeah.
I'm just
So,
going to
so where are
adapt.
you going to let them kind of
Uh,
percolate around and
I
get
think I'm going
their?
to start central, and
Uh huh.
I have my eyes. Like I said, I have my eye on that new Qualish
Ah,
adventure.
okay.
So we
Yep.
might end up in the west
Mm-hmm.
on the Barrier Peaks, but I
Yeah.
also have my eye on White Plume Mountain.
So I'll hide these things. So yeah. So you're going to maybe start
Um,
somewhere in this region here. Yeah.
the Greyhawk city of Greyhawk area, the
Uh huh.
domain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because if I keep it centralized, then I can go in any direction I want from
That's
there.
true. Then you can. Yeah. Then it will
I can
not
go
be that.
west.
Mm-hmm.
If I need to go to White Plume Mountain, I can go north.
Yep. Northwest and up here.
There's
Yep.
plenty of
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
riding distance of the city.
Yep.
I'm not going to be doing like Castle Greyhawk or Mar Castle. I've done those, and my friends that I'm running for have played in them multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to find either new material or stuff that I have never run for them before that's published, and I'm just going to adapt it on the fly.
Ah, yep. I'm starting to I'm in the planning phases of my next. There will probably be several campaigns, and they will be set around set in the what used to be Shieldlands, and in 599, early like winter 598, early 599. So like 5 6 years after the wars, and when the Shield lands fell, that's the area I will. So let's see if I do this, and I'll go here, and so I'm going to set them here, and this is my campaign map. So they will be set in, and I'll talk about that in some
Oh, right.
detail once I'm up and running with the campaign. But it will be set here in what I call the barony of Axport. That is one of these satellite frontier countries or provinces that IUs have created as a
Very
buffer
nice.
zone to his more kind of core empire inside, so to speak. So they will be living in this barony that is kind of a gray zone between the more civilized part of the empire of IUs. That will be interesting, and it's simply called the Old Empire because IUs is the old one. So it's actually a new empire, but it's called the old one, and he's the old one, and it's the old empire. So yeah, everything to appear mighty and like you always been there. So yeah, so that will be the area I'm concentrating on kind of developing for my own future use.
Hmm.
Okay, do we have
Well, just following the chats here.
yeah,
West Marches Greyhawk communities. Man, St. Michael. No, not really. Anna, do you know what West March campaign is?
no,
It's kind of a community, or uh, it's a campaign where you have multiple DMs who
it's
just
a bit
kind
like
of
Greyhawk Reborn kind of thing. They it's some sort of organized in some way
well,
play.
they might do it that way. I don't know. I think it's more of a not really like. I don't think it's a convention play. I think it's literally a sandbox campaign
Oh,
of
that sounds fun.
rotating
Yeah.
game masters.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I know my friend Eric talked about doing a West Marches campaign of just like a homebrew,
Yeah.
and I think that would be really tough for an old schooler like me to do a West March Greyhawk campaign because it'd have to be like a bunch of Greyhawk uh, lore people like me running it. I wouldn't trust any of my friends to run me Greyhawk. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's why when I play, I
Uh,
want to play in other settings, so I can be amused
yeah,
and befuddled and kind of lose it because I want to be surprised and so on and so forth. I don't want to sit there and say, "Oh no, you're doing it wrong according to how
and
I
I'm
would
not
have
saying
done
I
it." So
know it all. I have played in Greyhawk campaigns, and I
yeah,
just kind of play according to my character's intelligence at that
yeah.
point.
But
But
I love to play
to
another.
share my
Yeah.
campaign,
No,
I'm
no, no,
just
no,
I'm
no, no, no,
thinking
no, no.
about it.
I can play in other Greyhawk games, yes, but I usually prefer actually to play in other game worlds because I want to be inspired by other things that way, and I don't want to know more than what my characters get told he or she knows.
The other facet of the West March thing is you just play with the players that you have available too.
Okay, yeah,
They just kind of come and go,
mm-hmm,
which that part I'm fine with, uh, because real life happens, and you don't want your game to stall because you didn't have everyone together on every night.
yeah,
And so, in that respect, whoever shows up gets the XP, gets the loot. That's great.
yeah,
Yeah. But no, I don't know anyone who's running that freely online yet. They might be out there. I just don't know it. Let's see. Now, as to the Greyhawk channel, which we're on, that's a very, I don't know if I would say it's structured, but it's kind of like DM Shane's campaign is the baseline.
mm-hmm,
And then he invites in game masters to kind of populate the rest of the map and run storylines that I guess kind of fit along the same
yes,
timeline
yeah.
of
They
his.
kind of yeah. There is like some sort of general narrative that they should put pieces
Yeah.
into. Yep.
So if you're really good at doing like roll 20 and you can run online, even stream games as a DM, I would try to hit up DM Shane
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
say, "Hey, I'm interested in running
He
for
might
the Graph channel."
love to have more DMs running slots for him.
Yeah, because his thing's always growing and
Mm-hmm.
new players, new game masters.
Yep.
Just depends on but you got to have a little bit of online savvy to run
Yeah.
for that,
Mm-hmm. Yes, a little bit of technical stuff so you can set up the
which I don't.
OBS and do some of the stuff that I do and be able to host it. And you also have to have a fairly beefy computer that can handle it, and also have to have an internet connection that is fast enough that you can actually run video and
Yeah,
audio and so on and so forth. So yeah. So it's a little bit. It's not more than a decent gaming computer or a good gaming computer
yeah,
can handle it,
yeah.
and but you also need a little bit of tech savvy and setting all these things up and adding graphics and work on it. So it's not difficult. It just requires a bit of attention. Yep.
Well, there you go, Saint Michael. Yeah, so if you know roll 20, then you already got a leg
Yeah.
up on
Mm-hmm.
everyone. Half people here, not me. I don't know how to run roll 20. And I think that's what they use
Yep.
for
Yeah.
graph.
He uses Roll20. Yep. Mm-hmm. Then we have Gary again. Wait, where's the going to Bard or Greyhawk guest this week?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's next week if things go according to plan. So yep,
boy,
yep,
I can't wait to see what they bring to the table.
yep, yeah.
Who brings
Yeah.
to the table.
That's when they wanted to come on because they had some cool announcements and stuff.
Oh,
So yeah, so we have to reach out and so on. And so that yep, so that's
uh,
planned for next week.
yeah, Saint Michael. If you have a Twitch stream, you do just what's the name of it, or maybe we'll drop in sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait for Bards of Greyhawk. Those guys are doing what no one else that I know of does in the Greyhawk community,
Yep.
which is really
They make Greyhawk themed music and stuff, and
see.
it's amazing. Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Yep.
I'll track you down, Saint Michael.
hmm
Yeah, and then speaking of Greyhawk campaigns, going on right now during our stream is Lord Gazumba's
Yes.
1E campaign.
Yeah, that has gone on for like 40
Yeah,
years or almost.
right.
Yep. Some.
That's kind of a closed game community, but he still got good ties with
Oh
the
yeah, and
overall.
he's a lot of players. They've been playing for decades, and
Yeah.
they all have a first edition that they kind of built on and tweaked and house ruled and added a whole bunch of stuff. So it's basically like a fork of the first edition, and so they made their own version of first edition, or maybe you can call it their own private second
Yeah.
edition game in a way.
But much like St. Michael, if you've been streaming already and you're doing Greyhawk
Hmm.
by chance,
Yep.
it's just uh, like them. They were doing it all this time, but they didn't know that there was a larger Greyhawk community
Yeah,
around.
yeah, and Lord Gazumba, they are doing the normal play around the table, rolling dice and put up cameras and stuff with
Yeah,
miniatures,
yeah,
and
they
so
were
they play old
21st century.
school classic games with miniatures and
Yeah,
big game table and rolling dice, but they are really good at placing cameras and getting the audio up so you can hear the players and you can hear the
yeah. The
DM and see
audio,
things.
I have to turn my volume down with
Well,
them.
yeah, I
They
must say the audio. If Jay can start using these, it will be perfect. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
Yep. So
St.
there's
Carmine.
yeah. So Greyhawk has had a resurgence online in many different ways, shapes, and forms, and it's kind of super cool. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
someday.
Mm-hmm.
Someday we'll have a official fifth edition, maybe sixth edition. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we'll see that, and it might be maybe they open up DM's Guild or something soon, and then there'll be might be even a more of an avenue for even more Greyhawk content to come out. But we'll see at GaryCon. Then Mike Merles is going to have a
Hmm.
presentation when he's going to talk about settings and fifth edition, and
No.
then we're going to have our seminar where we talk about a lot of the fan creation stuff for Greyhawk and so on. So it might be.
I hope that Mike Merles's thing doesn't affect our seminar too much. If you know what I
No,
mean.
exactly, but at least the yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Because I know the guys have a lot they want to broadcast to a wider audience.
Hmm.
Me, I'll just field questions. I don't have an agenda.
No,
Uh,
I just present and talk a little bit
yeah,
about it, but I'm also
yeah, I
have
don't have a
fairly large
project.
presence that way, so people can go on
Yeah,
and so on. So I will leave most of it for questions too. I think that I
yeah.
don't need to preach that much. I want to
My
people to ask me
right.
questions and so
Like
on.
your map speaks for itself.
Well,
My
yeah. Now I'll
comic
talk.
speaks
Yeah,
for
I'll
itself.
talk about some of the future projects. That's where I will
Yeah,
put most of it. And
right.
and with a bit of luck, there will be a big map, printed
Hmm.
map of
That'll be
printed
the
version of my
catch.
map. Yep.
That's why I want to go to GaryCon is get this awesome document that you're not going
Yep.
to get anywhere.
Yep. So it's going to be fun. Yep.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Gribbly. Let me try
4K
to get questions.
projector is yeah. Oh, sorry. Go on here. Let's see. Mhm.
Fork. What's the greatest divergence in canon that you've had in a Guerrilla campaign?
That is a
Uh,
good question, and that is a question I think we should leave for an episode in 2 weeks. That I suggested that we need to do soon because that we've got a lot of questions like that, meaning we have to
okay.
start putting our money where our mouth is. We need to talk about
Okay.
our own Greyhawk campaigns and kind
Sorry,
of
man. We're saving that one.
yeah. But oh, please answer that now. But I think that we need that's something we should kind of
Uh,
elaborate on more
well,
for.
Spencer just answered it for me. Yeah, I did an
Oh yeah,
article on Campfire where I flooded the
oh.
entire map,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not really a divergence from canon, is it? It's just like a what if. It's
Yeah.
I would consider a divergence like um, I use not I use I, I have Forgotten Realm deities
Oh,
in my campaign, or
yeah. That will be that
uh,
will be a heresy. Mm-hmm.
I put Al Qadim in the Backlash West or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't
Yep.
know, something
Yep.
crazier.
Mm-hmm. But I think Gary is onto something when he said that I need a 4K projector. Definitely, I need a 4K projector, and
Mhm.
I have a 2K, like an HD projector. So, but I hope that I don't have to drag it along because it's kind of big, and I don't want to risk to have too many vibrations and stuff, and I will drop it and so on. But I'm definitely thinking about getting one. If I'm going to do a lot of presentations, I definitely need a 4K projector, because the projectors that normally appear in these conference centers and stuff are usually crap, to be honest. The TVs are usually better because at least they are bright enough that you can actually see it. But they, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I would love to have a 4K that I can present to 100 inches or something, because then you can actually see the map at fairly good. I'm waiting for the 8K TVs to come out, because then my maps would be perfect for my maps. 8K TV, then you can really see it. So yeah, but at least there might be a printed version of my map that is printed, that is about 80 inches, I think, or 77 inches wide or something. So it's not full scale, so you'll not be able to read the really fine print, but at least you can read cities and maybe large towns and so on. But the smaller print will not be legible, but it will be cool to look at, and it's the
Yeah,
new
I'm
version of the
wondering.
map.
So Do a Carthan's talking about tying in
Hmm.
Savage Tide, Age of Worms.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm having a mental block. Which comes first, the Age of Worms or Savage Tide?
I think the Age of Worms is first, and then Savage Tide is afterwards, if I remember correctly, because they
Hmm.
did Cauldron and stuff later, I think. Yeah.
Uh, hmm.
Oh, good. Yep.
The Worms is first.
Yep. Hmm.
Right.
Good. Now
Okay.
we have several people weighing in that support me.
Yeah.
That. Yep.
But if the heroes lose in Age of Worms,
Yeah.
does Savage Tide still happen?
So
Aha.
are these adventure paths supposed to be played with the same characters?
Ah, no, they're
No,
both
because aren't
level.
they supposed to start from the first level, go to like 20 in each of
Yeah.
them? Yeah.
Now, how he ties them together, maybe I believe they were both very overburdened campaigns. That if you cut out a lot of the stuff, maybe you could make both of them into a 1 to 20,
Yeah.
combine them somehow. Oh, Smedger's talking heresy here. He doesn't have the barrier peaks in his Greyhawk. What
I
separates all from Keelan then?
No, but what I think is that it's the module, the barrier peaks.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not the mountains itself.
I see.
Yeah, but when it comes to modules, I haven't run any modules the way I've only run Hamlet, and that was for a gang of people that didn't really, because someone ran I played through Hamlet with my first DM, and then he wasn't really set in Greyhawk. He just put it in his world, and so that way I've never played in my own Greyhawk gaming. I've never really played through any modules at all the way they were intended. Never. So I never run the official storyline in large parts. I've had the Greyhawk Wars and stuff, because I love the when they came out, and it was kind of, I use attacked Furyundi and stuff, that we played out, so we had a lot of fun doing that, and so I that way I can be kind of played through some of it, but I never played the modules as intended. No, I read through them and get the goody juicy bits that I want to use, like places and names and NPCs and stuff, and then I do my own version of it. And we never go to, and I usually rewrite the locations completely, because the
Hmm.
locations are small and petty in my opinion, so I usually make them bigger and more interesting if they go to them. But most of these official dungeons, we never been to the Castle Greyhawk, for instance. It's there,
Really?
but we never been to it.
So Gary's asking if anyone's ever used Arneson's Blackmore as the Blackmore in their Greyhawk setting.
Nope.
Me neither, but I bought the third edition Dave Arneson's Blackmore book
Oh, cool.
at Gen Con when Dave Arneson was working the booth,
Yeah.
when he was still alive. I think he
Wow.
died like within a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So I have it. I could
Oh,
have I guess.
But that's something we should kind of go into on an episode and see what are the differences, the what are the trade over, or is it only the name
I
that
would
have?
like to have an authority on there for that.
Okay,
I don't
well, we'll
know
see.
my
Yeah, because
artisans very well
yeah,
though.
someone gave me a copy of one of the, I think it was Dave Arneson's personal map. Someone gave
Um,
me a copy of that, and that was hand drawn and stuff. That didn't look anywhere near what it was, a big campaign setting by itself. And but the
okay.
name Blackmore kind of carried over to the Flannies
Yeah.
somehow, and but not
Uh,
the content, I think.
so I flipped around through that Blackmore book as I recall, and I mean it's still in really good condition. I got it stored away somewhere. It might be worth looking at again now,
Hmm.
with new eyes.
Yeah.
Because back when I got it, it was you're at a convention, just looking for something unique to bring home.
Hmm.
But I don't really believe I read it thoroughly enough. Uh, but if I really wanted to run something Blackmore, I would definitely pull that book out and borrow from it heavily.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know nothing about Aquaria.
Oh, you go for it, Drew Carthen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
We
If you
we might
wanna,
get flooded here,
don't
Mike.
know if you're gonna get
We'll
some
see. You might get
moderator.
have to log back in again or something. We'll see.
Yeah, I
Yep.
don't know if
Hmm.
something's gonna happen or not.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of fun to see. Yep. Yeah. You
Yeah,
Mike,
this
you
is the
talk about.
Greyhawk channel's chat room, so I don't
Hmm.
know how it's gonna.
Exactly. We're just running the show. We haven't done any of the security settings or anything that way. So yeah.
Hmm.
Can you put it online somewhere? And oh,
I don't know. Looks
here it
like he's
comes.
posting
Yep.
a
Here it
block.
comes. Yep. Hmm.
Uh, yeah, the crook.
Crook of Rao. That's one of the interesting kind of yeah. Hmm.
Is that a one-shot item? You think, or I can't really recall
The
what
crook
its
the Crook of Rao.
secondary. Yeah, what its actual functions are. I just
The
recall.
actual function was to cleanse demons from the Flannies,
So
and
is it a one-shot item?
it seems to be some item that it's an
Ritual.
artifact that
Okay.
seems to have like a widespread thing, meaning I use and that's one of the things that don't seem to have any. I've read a little bit about it, but it doesn't seem to have any mechanical things tied to it. When you read it, you can use it
Ah,
in battle, and
okay.
it has a bunch of functions. It's like
So
seems to
there
be
was
a little
a
bit like Staff of the Magi for clerics or something like that. You
okay.
can recall a whole bunch of spells, but when it comes to the campaign, it's written like it has the ability for the priests that they can actually cleanse a lot of the demons, because that was one of the things that took away some of the edge from Ayuz, that he couldn't
Ah,
use a lot of his demons and stuff in his armies got simply couldn't come because Ayuz couldn't summon it. So it's some sort of had some sort of do with the higher power dynamics too, and that's probably just something that is more flavor in the campaign writings rather than something crunchy that has something to do with the mechanics of the game.
ah.
Hmm.
So Igwil didn't want to use the crook. She just wanted to prevent its use.
Yeah, but also from what I take it, that you need to be a good cleric of Palor or Rao or someone like that in order to use it. Like probably maybe even only clerics of Rao that could use it,
Hmm.
because it's one of these. If you're evil, you take a hell of a lot of damage every round you're using it, or something like that. Just like holy or unholy. So maybe if you're neutral, you can probably wield it, but I think that at least that's the way I would normally run it, is that if you're not good, then you can't really use it, and it might even be that it's something that only priests of Rao can use it properly. Yep, and yeah, Canon Hazen. Yep. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, Rao is not the first choice of an adventuring cleric, you would think.
No, but it's one of these kind of there's a bunch of good deities that I kind of like, and I like that there's
Would they be
competition there.
pacifists?
No, not necessarily. I think that it probably depends on the times. But if Ayus threatened to overrun the whole of the Flannies, I don't think anyone with a good heart could be a pacifist. They probably have to get rid of these, but it's probably better to ban them rather than to kill them that way.
Because the Crook of Rao banished them, right? He didn't
Yes,
kill
that's yeah,
them,
exactly. Banish them
banished them.
down to
So,
the
see,
the
that's
netherworld
a
again. Yeah,
pacifist.
and also stops them from coming. I think
Ah,
so. Ayus can't summon them as easily as he was able to.
well, the way to stop them from summoning all them demons was to go into his freaking palace and take out them gates.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep. And
that
in
would
my
be
campaign,
better.
there is more and more. Ayus is aligning his realm more and more with his both his demi plane that has connections to. So he's building a sort of bridge between Abyss and he has his demi plane and then the Flannies, so to speak. So he's trying to, because that way he keep an escape route, and he can more and more draw parts of the Flannies into his own.
Gary's
Yeah.
talking about the plague of Istus being annoying. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. The module Fate of Istus
Yeah.
was a kind of a an addition retcon, I guess. I don't fully understand the story part of it, but if they just wanted to retcon it, then yeah, Istus could be like the Infinity Gauntlet. Istus could rewrite everyone's fate if she wanted. You don't need a big adventure to do that.
Yeah, that's true. But you might need an adventure to grab Istus'
Yeah,
attention, and
right.
also to kind of make sure that other gods and
Oh yeah.
powers can't interfere, so to speak. So yeah.
Yes, after the fate of Istus, no one killed assassinated anyone after that. Right, right. It was kind of yeah, kind of lame. I think
And
that
I'd
would not
say
fly now because D&D is all about inclusiveness now. All these races and
yeah,
classes.
yeah.
It's they would not dare have a fate of Istus nowadays where they're taking away options.
That's true, yeah. But
Yeah,
I would play Istus more like, not like she can run all the fate, but more like she can tweak fate. It's in her
yeah,
hands to kind of nudge something more to happen and something a little bit less, meaning you can get a bonus on something and you can get a penalty on certain things.
yeah.
Meaning in order to have her along will kind of help you
Yeah.
do whatever you want to do, so to speak. So yeah, or something like that.
Gribbly, yeah, you're right. It was had a lot of useful city maps in it, and I
Yes.
wonder if that was the original intention of that book. If it was
I
a
think
source
so.
book
Yeah.
of cities
Yeah,
that
because
they
that's what the yeah, that was the this seems to
enter.
be the theme going through
Yeah,
the it was that each chapter recurred around a city that had a city map. But the problem was
yeah.
that the art seemed to be ordered in haste afterwards, because the city maps and stuff didn't seem to be that well researched, didn't have that much details, but they
Some
were.
more than better
Yeah,
than others.
exactly. Some are better than others. Yeah, but it was one of the that this era in TSR when a lot of things came out, and they have a lot of good intentions, but not so much good executed all the times.
Hey, Scott. I'll just call you Scott. Uh, if you're just joining the discussion, we're towards the end of this episode, but uh, really cool area to be running. Nessermouth into the Bright Desert.
Oh yes.
Anna, do you know of any material on the Twisted Canyon? Sorry,
No, no,
uh,
no. I was
it's not
trying
ringing a
to
bell
figure
with
out
me.
where the Twisted Canyon is.
If it's not in Rary the Trader, then it might be in one of those Living Groundhog journals
Uh huh.
had that featured Rary. Uh, I can't think of any other things that feature the Bright Desert like that, though.
Let's let let
I
me
don't have a
do.
number for you.
Yeah. Twisted Canyon. Let's
Yeah.
see. I get
But
194 hits in
oh
my
boy.
notes here, so let's see.
Okay. So it's
But that means that's documents mentioning both Twisted and Canyon. So yeah.
now is it well, Doug Carthen says it is in Rary. Okay. I was about to say I hope it's not a living Greyhawk creation, in which case you'd have a hard time finding that.
Oh, I have Rary the Trader, so let's open that and see what we have in.
Gribbly has excluded Dragonborn from his campaign. I offer Dragonborn in my campaign. So far, no one's really tried it. Plenty of Tieflings though.
Yeah, I never used Dragonborn either. No match for Twisted Canyon in Rary the Trader.
Okay.
Um, hmm.
Hmm.
Let's see if we have it in. I use the evil here then.
Oh, so it separates the old ruined Itar from Solm. So is that somewhere near the like Plain of Spears,
We have
that battle site?
Old Sulm.
Yeah, southwest of the Plain of Spears. Hmm.
Okay, here,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's down here where we're looking at here. So yeah.
Plain of Spears, but it's not on Anna's map.
No, that's the cool thing. Now I need to make a map node here,
Oh,
and
now you done it.
yes, awesome. Thank you.
Twisted Canyon.
Map
Huh.
notes, a new note.
You got plenty of space out there, I guess.
Yeah,
For
Twisted
where you place it.
Canyon, and it should be near.
He says right where the S is in hills.
In Brass Hills.
In the Ithar Hills. So it's
Oh,
that
okay. Oh,
there's your
gotcha.
canyon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's the path
yes.
from Solm to
Yeah, in
Ithar, right?
Hills. Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much. That will be something that goes in the next edition. That will be the
Oh,
2020
wait,
edition.
wait. Twisted. Is that in the ground hardcover? Twisted Canyon? Wow. Way to go, Scott. You're stumping me here.
Yeah.
Now I gotta like go to my book. Because I thought there was a Twisted Forest.
Yeah, Gary don't recall it, so we'll see. Yeah, but we have, but
There's a Twisted Forest.
okay.
Burning Cliffs.
Oh yeah, I have the Burning Cliffs on my map. I
Isles.
remember them. Yep.
I mean, I ain't saying there's not a Twisted Canyon, but I think you might be kind of confusing them.
Yeah.
Under the Plain of Spears. Well, that's cool. What's in the Twisted Canyon?
Yeah.
What's the lore on this, man? Now that we've totally gone off in that tangent.
Yep, but this is so cool. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lane. I'm sorry, I'm typing this down, so I will have it to look after again in. Oh, Demogorgon. Yep, that's the one of the guys behind the Death Knights and stuff, I think.
Hmm.
But this is good. We got some map stuff done. This awesome. I love that. We got
Anna's always picking up.
Yeah, picking up new
map.
stuff to put on the map. That's awesome. That's how we can. I manage to get thousands of stuff on the map. So yeah, so here we have the Plain of Spears and the Var Oasis and Histak and Ithar Hills and Old Sulm. Yeah.
Yeah, Gribbly, the tangents are good once our main topic is gone and we're just kind of
yeah. Now we have another 45 minutes, an hour that we can have tangents and go off the rails on things. Yep. This is awesome. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Twisted Canyon.
Yep.
All right. Does anyone else have any other tangents they'd like to throw out? Any campaign stuff they're doing? Any questions?
Yeah. Hmm.
I want all you guys to like these new names, Gribbly and St. Michael, and Scott, Terrell. You guys got to keep coming back here, and we'll
Oh,
help you with your campaigns.
yeah, Gary Smedger the Elder had a good question to me. Did I ever try to preserve the old hex key from Darlene's
Um,
map? Well, I had a problem with the hexes. The problem was that the fractals that I use, especially Old Bryce, I didn't have absolute control over it, and also that I back in the day when I started this, I had no possibility to scan the large map and to put that in. So and I couldn't put in like a reference image to work from. So I simply held up the map to the monitor and kind of just went by eye, so to speak. So it was simply I just roughed it. And that was one of the problems, both that the algorithms, the fractals, have the life of their own, and the fact that I couldn't have a reference image superimposed when I did the fractals. Now when I work in modern tools, I can have a reference image in, and I can kind of tweak things until I get the precision that the coastline is where it's supposed to be. So those two things made that my maps aren't compatible right straight off the bat with from
right.
Darlene's maps. So the and Alan Growy and have also asked me that oh, we need to put the so you can kind of superimpose the hex grid from Darlene's maps onto my maps, and no, they don't. And also that my maps also taking into consideration a whole bunch of sources that weren't available back in the day when Darlene did her map, and they also
Right.
10 to 50 times more detailed. On Darlene's map, nothing that is smaller than 100 miles. It's like there's
Right.
roughly an error of 100 miles. So
Wow.
coastlines and cities and stuff can wobble around a bit because there are
Yeah.
cities that they are simply you have to consider them within roughly the same hex, and each
Yeah.
hex is 30 miles, and if it's printed on top of the center of the intersection between a number of hexes, so you basically get up to roughly 100 miles of error, so to speak, on
Whew.
and also that a lot of rivers are almost they are like wide. Things are even small lines are 20 miles wide, and so that means that the details, nothing less than 100 miles is really that detailed is on the maps. So I simply go with these guidelines, and then I just so it's roughly where it's supposed to be. So and then I used a lot of details. So for instance, if it's text says that it takes 2 days to ride between the coast and a city or between two cities, then I use that as a rough guide and put it. But also I then someone else might say that it's 40 miles from that city to some other place, and
Right.
these things don't match Darlene's map, for instance, or some other map that is made. So then I usually text trump map. So I always assume that the text is accurate and not the maps. And the reason for that is that I know from all the commission work that I do that as a map maker, you'll usually come in last, meaning the text is written and the text is the real thing, so to speak. That's the real document, and maps are just there to illustrate the text. So I simply assume most of the time that the text is right and not the map.
Hey, Anna, break out. Well, later. You don't have to now.
Yeah,
I tried. Break out your Rary the Trader map because I
yeah.
think he's saying that the Twisted Canyon's on that.
Okay,
I
awesome.
couldn't find mine. I think mine. I have it laminated. It's somewhere I can't find it.
I'm looking at I have the Rary the Trader. Let's see if I have the.
I think that canyon might
Oh,
be on.
here we have it. Here we are. Here we are. Hang on a second here, and let's dive in here. Uh-huh. Plain of Spears, Var Oasis column.
Here.
I've seen this one, and I
Very
don't
cool.
see the Twisted Canyon on
It's not on
this. Nope, it's not.
there. I had a feeling that because that map has stuff on it that you wouldn't have found in any other Greyhawk
But
publication.
hang on a second. This map, I'm going to put it in here. Is this the map from there? This one was in the PDF. Or is this some other weird map that someone did afterwards?
Um, I don't know.
But I'm going to, you keep talking and I'm digging into my shelf here
Uh,
because this
so
is
hey,
interesting.
36 years, Scott. That's really cool. And thanks for the kind words, Gridley. Yeah, a lot of us here have been playing Greyhawk, as long, and it's really good to be sharing these ideas and projects that we do. I don't know if some of you guys I just met
Ta-da!
today.
Found
I
it.
don't know if you're on Facebook, the Facebook communities or groups or whatever, but there's just a lot of places to go to now for Greyhawk communities. Cannon Fire, Greyhawk Online, Greyhawk Channel, all kinds of outlets if you want to share stuff you've done for your campaigns.
Yep. I have here is the insert, the printed insert, and I can't see it on this one. So I don't
Okay.
think it's on here. Knife
I
edge.
had a feeling it was, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yep, the one that was in the PDF was a recreation of this one. It's not the
Uh,
original map, but it's actually very similar, and it has a
I had a feeling they snuck something in
yeah.
there
This
on us.
the PDF map that was inserted in the kind of semi. I don't know where I got the PDF from, but someone sent it to me, and but that map actually have more stuff on it than the original map in here because this map has fewer things. Or maybe they're only more spread out because the map is so large. So it's, yep. But
Yeah,
no Twisted Canyon on the map.
well, it's a good idea.
Yep, but it was wonderful. Now I got a chance to dig into the
And you
old
can put
libraries and
Vathras sample in
yep,
there.
and the old stuff. So yep,
Yeah, I'd love to explore like the ocean topography. My last Sea Princess campaign, I involved the going underwater, Drawmage, the Sahuagin, and all that cities, sea elves. So there's a lot to be you could do with undersea maps. Hmm.
let's see. I have some.
Tua Carthan's got a line on something. I think it might be Living Greyhawk because Living Greyhawk did a whole core event where it was set in the bright desert and a lot of like going back in time. They went back in time, I think, and then they were trying to stop Rary from getting the Scorpion Crown and all that. So I'm sure maybe that Twisted Canyon comes up in that. Hey, Dwayne. Rumor: Salt Marsh modules published in the next book of 5e Adventures this spring. Yes, there.
I've
I did
saw
hear about
something.
that.
Yeah, me too. And probably one of the of many good instances where content is taken from Greyhawk and reused in some other areas and stuff. So
Right. If they want to do that whole Salt Marsh series where it's like swamps and lizard men and things, great. I would really be aghast if they put Salt Marsh in Forgotten Realms. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle it.
yeah. And speaking about ocean depths, I've thought about that because as a map maker, that's one of the interesting areas I want to go into. And then I have here is one of the examples that are technically this is the Walworth Isle, just a test of the landmass, that island that is in the middle of Near
Oh
Div
wow!
with and this they wasn't even finished because there's some areas they didn't map. But I took the almost made terrain and put it in a new file, and this is 20 miles of ocean depth. So I wanted to see the potential. So I
It's
did.
it's a deep lake.
Yeah, so I can, yeah, because it's a lake of unknown depths. So I wanted to see if it was possible, and so here I put terrain in, so and this is something I will definitely want to revisit. So I can make a map with accurate ocean depths and stuff down to as deep as needed, so to speak. So that was one of the
It's like
yeah.
Lake Baikal is the only
Mm-hmm.
thing I think
Yep.
comparable.
Yep. So that's so technically that's something I've looked at how to do it, and I definitely want to go in. But in order to do it, I want to do the land masses first. So I have all
Yeah,
the place, and then you take it.
got to put the Isles of Woe out there somewhere, right?
Yep, yep. So that's the thing. So
But
first I will test this and to do a final version, or like a real sharp version of this will be with the Lendor Isles. So I will
cool.
make the Lendor Isles first, and that will include the coastal areas where you have the shallow ocean. And then I will take that elevation file into a new terrain like this, and then do the deep oceans, and you can see how the Lendor Isle stick ups from the ocean floor, so to speak. So
You
yeah.
can't post links in the chat.
No, unfortunately, Shane has set the that seems to be the official policy from you can set it differently here. So yep. That was a little tangent just to answer that yes, I thought about doing oceans and stuff too. So yep.
Wow. And we've now been talking long enough that we've been rated.
Ooh, we've been raided. Tales of the Grim.
Hi, folks from
Welcome. Yep.
Grim.
Yep.
I
Welcome.
hope
Welcome.
you all are Greyhawk fans.
Yep. We're talking about oceans and the calendar and the years and the holidays, and then we stuck into the bright desert and a whole bunch of other tangents the past 2 hours.
Yeah, you're catching us right on the final leg of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yep.
had been talking about Greyhawk holidays, calendars,
Yep.
romantic interests, maps. We've been all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Oh,
Yep. Boros
okay.
Pellucidar. Are you
Okay.
familiar with that?
So apparently that map of the Bright Desert with the Twisted Canyon
Yeah.
on it can be found on my blog. My
Oh,
blog.
awesome!
Go,
Wonderful. So
go figure.
you're the culprit behind that.
Yeah, and
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
that I don't have any way to point you to it right now, but the map in question I do now believe comes from a yeah, I believe it's a Dragon Magazine article that
Okay.
featured the
Oh.
or a Living Greyhawk journal in
Uh-huh.
Dragon Magazine that
Okay,
featured Rary the
awesome,
Bright Desert.
awesome. Yep, that's great because now we know it's not from Rary the Trader or Bright Desert,
Yeah.
so it's from some other
It's an
cool.
official map.
Yep,
Yeah,
awesome. Then
this
we
is
know it's
not
there.
living.
Yep. But see if you can dig up that one, and I'll make a map note so the next update of the map will have it. So yep.
Well, no, you can thank Duke Carthen for finding that one.
Mm,
Um, but I must have been talking about the Bright Desert and found that somewhere.
Yep.
But yeah, Anna, you need to update your map once again.
Oh yes, yeah.
2013.
I've already put notes. This is probably the third or the fourth note of stuff
And
that
now we're
needs to
being
be.
rated by Unmade Gaming.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Welcome,
Hope
Unmade
y'all
Gaming.
are
Yep.
y'all are Greyhawk fans,
Wow, this is awesome.
B
Yep.
fans.
Yeah, I'll shoot you, Rick. I'll shoot you
Yeah,
a PM. Yep.
a lot of raid love
Yeah, we
today.
have more
That's awesome.
raids and yep. Yeah,
Look at
that's
this.
catnip for
Man.
me. Yep. Yep.
Unmade Gaming. Anyhow, like what I was saying before, we're starting to wind down.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah. I think it's
um,
time for us to wrap up for
it's not
this
your
week.
usual Greyhawk channel show. On this one, we talk about lore about Greyhawk, and we're going to
Yep.
actually
And the Greyhawk channel is usually live games. We are the exception, so to speak. We talk about the setting and stuff like that. That has not run a game, but we talk about the setting of Greyhawk. And then almost every other day, and sometimes several times a day, there are games running Greyhawk live games set in this channel. So that's what it is mostly about.
She
So
needs some custom emotes for this channel so I can repel these raiders.
yeah.
But
Okay.
no, thanks guys for
Yep.
coming in
And we will be back next
boosting our
week
confidence.
with hopefully with Bards of Greyhawk.
And they are literally bards. They are
Yes,
musicians.
they're awesome. Yeah, they're musicians and stuff. So that's
Yeah.
what we can hopefully look forward to next week. Okay, thank you so much everyone for tuning in, all the awesome comments and ideas and the lore and stuff that you contributed to. It's fantastic. It means a
Yeah,
lot.
thanks for everyone for stopping in. Come back in again next week at 7 p.m. Central.
Yep. 8 p.m. Eastern. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.